Hi and welcome to Rose Red Homestead. It is late Friday afternoon. I'm just home from work. I've changed clothes and I'm tired. It's been a rough week, and so I want something easy to fix for dinner. And I have decided that I'm going to use things from our food storage. Being able to have a food storage with a variety of choices is so lovely, because I can simply go shopping out there in our food storage and put together a quick meal if I don't want one that's already in a bag or already in a jar ready to go. So we are going to talk about some options of doing this, and this goes very much to self-reliance, food security, and emergency preparedness. All three themes are those that we feature here on our channel. So we will be back and get to it in just a moment. Before we get started, I want to thank all of those of you who went to our community tab last night and so far today after we posted a notice that we are making up our list for videos for this coming spring. And we wanted to know what your favorite categories are. I have posted 5 possibilities, and please continue to vote if you have not already. This is going to influence our thinking in terms of what we do for the spring in our videos. And we're getting some interesting suggestions so far. Not only are people voting, but they're also asking for specific things they would like to see in videos. And we haven't been through all of them yet. We've been through some, and I am making a list. And it will be that list from which we will draw our ideas for videos this spring. So, I went shopping out in our food storage just a while ago, and I want to show you what some of the possibilities are for dinner tonight. We have some things that are complete meals in a jar. This is beef stroganoff. All I have to do is open this up, thicken the broth that is in here, and then I will add a little bit of sour cream powder to it, cook up some noodles or rice or even potatoes, and we can have a meal fairly quickly. This is beef stew, which is even easier. All I need to do is open this and drain the liquid out, thicken the liquid so that it's stew instead of soup, warm it up, put it in a bowl, add some homemade bread, and boom, we have a dinner. Then I have several possibilities for dried soup. This is our rainbow lentil soup, which I featured in, I think it was the video that is called Canning Your Own Soup Recipe. I'll put the links to these down below so that you can click on these and review these. So this I would have to do a little bit of preparation, but it would be great. And so these are all combination ingredients. I also like to can or preserve individual ingredients. So this is a quart of beans. This is my triple bean mix, and all this is beans. Somebody the other day was very concerned that the liquid seemed to be all gone from the beans. Well, it seems to be all gone from my beans as well. This is very normal. Beans are going to absorb, and they're starchy, so they're going to thicken whatever is left. These are still perfectly good. So this is one ingredient. If I add to that, a pint of my canned corn, a pint of beef chunks, or I could also use hamburger. Stir in a can of tomatoes, and I want to show you this because our food storage consists of home canned goods and regular canned goods. We have a lot of cases of just canned food. Some things I don't can. I've not been able to grow a good crop of tomatoes for a number of years, so we're buying them in case lots of cans. And then I will add to that some taco seasoning and just let that simmer on the stove for a little while, and we will have taco soup. So, depending on how you preserve your food, you can have total meals or almost complete total meals, or you can have individual ingredients, and you have lots and lots of versatility. So what did I decide to fix for dinner tonight? Something brand new. You may recognize this from our recent video on the dry mushroom soup mix. We packed it in a jar like this, only instead of the little snack baggies, I had used little individual serving cups with lids. And this is another one that we did using the sandwich, little snack bags. And so this is a jar of our mushroom soup, and we had a number of people who suggested, ooh, this would be so good made into a gravy. So if you look at this, that is exactly what I have done. Instead of soup, this is gravy. And I did that, I followed the recipe exactly, and when it came time to thicken it, I added extra flour to turn it into gravy. Now, that's not all we're going to do. Recently, we also canned Costco meatballs and freeze-dried them as well. I'm going to add meatballs to this, and some of you suggested doing exactly that. And I had that idea too, so great minds, isn't it nice when we all think of the same thing? And so we're going to make meatballs and mushroom gravy, and we're going to put it over noodles, and we will open a jar of our home canned green beans. And if we wanted to have some fruit, I have pineapple, canned pineapple that we made a video on, and also applesauce or peaches out there. So this is all nice and warm. Now the decision that we have to make, are we going to use the canned meatballs or the freeze-dried meatballs? Well, many of you have requested a taste test on the meatballs. And quite honestly, Jim and I have yet to try the meatballs. And so that's what we are going to do right now. We're going to do a little taste test. Then we're going to add meatballs to this gravy. We'll dish up our dinner, and then I'm going to show you an alternative way that we could package this that would be just a little bit different if you wanted something that would be a complete meal like this. We're going to package this meal in a meals in bags, and I'll show you how we'll do that. So I have in this bowl 2 of our freeze-dried meatballs that were from this jar. And one of the things that I've discovered, because this is the first time I'm working with these, is that these did not rehydrate. These did not rehydrate super fast like other freeze-dried foods did. I had to put them in warm water for probably about 30 minutes before they got soft. And we're going to open for the very first time a jar of our pressure canned meatballs. I am going to drain the juice in here in case I want to use it in the gravy. So, Jim, everybody is going to want to know what you think of these 2. Here is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a canned meatball and a freeze-dried meatball in this bowl and another canned one over here. And we're each going to have, we can cut these in half if you don't want to eat the whole thing, but we're each going to taste. Now, can I just hand it across to you, or do you want me to hold the camera, or are we going to put it on a tripod? What do you want to do?
Let's just cut it in half and hand it to me.
Okay. Okay, this one is the freeze-dried. Let me have the camera. No, never mind. Do a selfie. Do a selfie. How is
So
it?
that's the freeze-dried.
That is the freeze-dried.
That's good.
Is it good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here is the canned one. Very soft.
Yeah, the freeze-dried, you have to let sit for half hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. This freeze-dried, rehydrated, is a little bit softer than when we use the frozen ones with spaghetti and things. I quite like the texture of this one. And the taste is just great. I found it very similar to the frozen ones. What did you think?
Yeah, that works out pretty well.
All right, this is the canned one. It is much softer. It's not mushy, not a bit. It holds together well. The flavor is quite different than the regular ones when we just thaw them and use them in spaghetti or whatever. I like both of them very much. I would be happy with either one. So what did you think?
They're both working.
Did you like one better than the other?
I liked the freeze-dried one.
You like the freeze-dried one
Yeah.
better?
But I'd eat both.
I would too. Okay, back to our dinner meal. Since we've opened up this jar, these are the ones that we're going to eat tonight for our dinner meal. And so I'm going to set them in here and let them heat up just a little bit. Oh, this just looks so yummy. And I don't need to use any of this other liquid. I could if I wanted to. If we were a larger family or serving a larger crowd, I would definitely use that and turn it into additional gravy. All right, that's going to warm up for a few minutes now. I'm also going to open up these beans. And green beans are notorious for botulism, so I always make sure that I listen and then do the safety things that I usually do. So listen to see if I hear the air getting sucked in. Yes, I did. Smell? They smell fine. And now I'm going to put them on the stove and I'm going to boil them for at least 10 minutes. So Jim and I had this conversation 2 or 3 nights ago. And I was telling him about our ideas for this video. And I said, so for the video, what do you want to have your mushroom and meatball gravy over? Do you want it over potatoes? And he said, you know, I'm okay with potatoes, but I just don't like them that much. And I nearly dropped my teeth. In 22 years of marriage, I had never heard him say that he wasn't 23 years?
23.
It's been 23?
It's been 23.
Oh, honey, how fast time passes when you're having fun. Okay, in 23 years, I had never heard him say that he wasn't all that fond of potatoes. And so I said, you have 3 choices, potatoes, rice, or noodles. And so he picked noodles. So that's what we are going to be having our gravy over today. Now, I have this and I have this as individual ingredients or an individual packet. And so I could certainly just go get these 2 things and make what we're doing, plus along with the noodles. Or we could do a meal in a bag. So I would just take a whole packet of the mushroom soup and put it in there. And then I would have to pack some meatballs in there. Now, one of our viewers saw me struggling with trying to get bag to stay open when I was filling it with things for freeze dry and for vacuum sealing. And she gave me a link to Amazon for this little doodad, this gadget. And in fact, there are 4 in a package, and I just love these. So this is the first time I'm going to be using these. So pardon my ineptness as I struggle with this a little bit. So to hold this open, I just put this under one side, and I raise this up and put the other side in this clip. And voila, is that neat or what? And so I could use them one at a time, but since I have 4, I'm going to go ahead and get 2 ready and do 2 together. So we have to then pack up the meatballs and the noodles. Okay, this looks like it's warm enough, and I'm going to turn that off. That cast iron will keep that nice and hot until we're ready for dinner. Oh my goodness, I love these. All right, so Jim, for meals in bags, how many meatballs do you think you would like? In a jar, there are 12. So shall I just put 12 in?
That sounds good.
Okay, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12.
Make baker's dozen.
13?
13, yeah, that's what a baker's dozen is.
I know what a baker's dozen is.
Kind of thought you did, I just thought I'd give you a hard time.
And then in the other one, we're going to pack the noodles. Oh, I love these. I just love them. And I'll put the link to these because I think they're so great and they're not that expensive if you're going to be doing a lot of vacuum sealing. All right, so we're ready to go ahead and seal these. Well, I made this bag way too big, but that's okay. So we're going to vacuum seal them. How cool is that? Nice and tight, and in the bag it goes. Now the same thing for the noodles.
Cracked noodles.
So when we make this meal, I can still hear them cracking. These noodles are going to be slightly smaller than the ones that we will eat tonight. Oh, this is great. I love it. Okay, so we now have a duplicate of tonight's meal as meals in bags. So let's dish this up so Jim and I can go ahead and have dinner. Oh, it's beautiful. Look at this. Mushrooms and onions and those lovely meatballs. So cool. You want another meatball, honey?
Well, that sounds okay. I'll get that baker's dozen.
I just want one more. And we have enough gravy for another meal, so I'll put this in a jar in the refrigerator and we can have that. Now for the green beans. And a pint pretty much does us for one meal.
Oh, put the rest of it on yours.
I've got it. Now before we run off and eat our supper, look what I just discovered. We kept hearing the noodles breaking, and so I reached into the bag, and these noodles have cut through the plastic and released the vacuum. So honey, I'm going to give you your choice. We'll use these for something else, but I'm not going to vacuum seal these. Would you like rice or would you like potatoes?
Cranberries.
Would you like rice or would you like potatoes? You can't keep putting the camera down.
Rice will work.
So I have to start at the beginning.
Start at the beginning, yeah.
So honey, would you like rice or would you like potatoes?
Rice.
Okay, we'll do that off camera and then that meal will be ready to go outside on our shelf. So thank you so much for joining us. We had a great time fixing our dinner, and isn't it fun to have such a variety of foods on our food storage shelves so that we can just go shopping and figure out meals that work and that are fun to do. So we will see you at our next video.